What's the difference between living in Germany and living in the Netherlands from your memory?
For me, there wasn't much of a difference at all because I went to a Dutch school and I had Dutch neighbors. So it feels just like I'm a Dutch person.
There's no big difference between your time there and here?
No, not really.
Okay. So it wasn't a difficulty for you to move to the Netherlands?
No, not at all. I had all my friends living in the Netherlands already. So.
Okay. Did you see yourself as a migrant?
No, not really.
Why not?
As I said, I had Dutch friends, Dutch neighbors, Dutch family. So for me, I never saw myself as a migrant.
Okay. Would you consider moving back?
Maybe someday, but as for right now, I'm happy the way I live.
Okay. Do you still have any connections with the people there? The German people?
Yeah, I have one friend that I keep in touch with from now and then. But,
He's German?
yeah, but not more than that.
Apart from that, no one really? Okay. What is your view on migration in line of business, war, etc., considering your own experiences?
I feel like migration should be made possible anytime, anywhere. No matter the situation, so in war, or just if you want to start a new life, you should be able to go wherever you want.
You think people who are in a war situation could be as easily move to another country than people who are just starting a business or want a new life?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And last of all, in your opinion, how should we deal with the refugee crisis in Europe?
In my opinion, like I said, everyone should be able to go where they want, wherever they want. I get that it's not as easy as it sounds, but I feel like it should be made possible.
What is a migrant? When would you consider someone a migrant? And when does one stop being a migrant? Maus does not qualify as a migrant, yet he and so many others might have more in common with the migrants from our current refugee crisis than might seem. In the past 10 years, there has been a lot of debate in Europe considering the refugee crisis caused by turmoil in the Middle East. In the last decennium, European attitude against the situation in Syria and Iraq has gone downhill. After tens of thousands of migrants have crossed the Mediterranean and have sought refuge in mostly southern Europe, countries have started to close borders and build up fences along the outskirts of the EU. Nowadays, when we speak of migrants, the refugee crisis is often the topic. However, refugees are not something of the modern day. Ever since the dawn of modern warfare, conflicts have grown more violent and affect the local population far more so than before. This refugee crisis is not the first time the local population has shown discontent on migrants from other lands. The war in Yugoslavia, famine in Ireland, and the world wars. These are all prime examples of when it was the Europeans who were the refugee. In fact, most of Europe has a long-lasting history of migration. From the 4th to the 6th century AD, in the period of Great Migration, entire ethnicities moved across Europe to find a new home in the corpse of the ancient Roman Empire. In these violent times, the people of modern Europe were born out of a period of migration. Anglo-Saxons from North Germany became the English, Franks from Eastern Europe became the French, and the Spanish migrated in Iberia after it was reconquered from the Muslims. These people then migrated around the world thanks to colonialism. They settled all across the globe, from Canada to South Africa, and from Australia to Venezuela. Our spreading across the earth also took us to the deserts of the Middle East. For around 400 years, the Ottoman Empire ruled the region. The empire, also known as the sick man of Europe, had been in a century-long decline, and in the First World War, European powers struggled for control of the oil fields in the Ottoman lands. After 4 years, they were defeated, and the region was split up among the victors. Ethnic boundaries were crossed and only European interests were taken into account. These lines who were drawn are still the borders today. It is also these lines that weakened the current states like Syria and Iraq. The expansion of us Europeans indirectly caused the instability in the Middle East we are familiar with today. We are travelers, we are migrants, and 100 years ago our ancestors laid the beginnings for the wars in the Middle East. We have a lot more in common with the refugees from Syria, and we might just owe them one. This is why we believe they should be given a warm welcome in Europe, including in our region.
A year ago, the EU made a migrant deal, which is the start of a successful way of dealing with the migration crisis. The deal includes the following. Migrants rescued at sea will be sent to controlled centers for rapid and secure processing. Genuine refugees will be resettled. Rejected claimants will be returned. There will be no enforced quotas for taking in refugees. The centers will also be located on a voluntary basis. There will also be close cooperation to combat secondary migration, where asylum seekers move across borders of member states. Operational and financial resources will be boosted. And finally, plans are endorsed to build processing centers outside the EU, probably in North Africa. These plans can actually make a difference when being executed in the right way. As of now, this has not been done, but there are plans and these could fix a huge part of the migration problem.